You're watching What's Hot on CNBC TV 18. 1 month from now, India will begin the process of elections. Three major coalitions are actively pursuing and finalizing their alliance partners. On What's Hot tonight, we ask who is better positioned at this point to form a more formidable alliance, UPA, the NDA or the Third Front. Joining us is Vinod Sharma of the Hindustan Times this evening. Vinod, many thanks for joining us. Let me begin by asking you, what do you make of the emergence of the Third Front as a force? Do you think it's a force to reckon with, or do you think that will fizzle out before the elections?
Well, you see, this is the time to make promises, Before elections, most political parties, formations, allies, future allies, past allies make promises to each other, especially in a situation where no single party is expected to get a majority or form a government of its own. So everybody agrees that in the post-election situation, it will have to be a joint family, then a nuclear family, a nuclear family of politicians who will govern this country. Now, when you have to set up a joint family, you have to maybe create ground for future, and that is what is happening. You have seen some of the allies scooting away from the BJP and making promises to another formation which is still in the process. So I do not know what shape will this Third Front, or whatever name it acquires, will take post-election. Right now, it is a tenuous alliance, the survivability of which will depend on the numbers it is able to mop up, as also how these numbers fare in comparison with the single largest party in the 15th Lok Sabha.
All right, Vinod, speaking of joint families now, between the UPA and the NDA at this point, which seems to be a more cohesive alliance? Remember, we've already seen the BJP or the NDA lose out on the BJD, and there are reports of infighting within the BJP already.
No, I don't think they're making any mistakes, The problem is of public perception. That in popular perception, the BJP doesn't seem to be heading a very robust lineup. And for that reason, you have seen the Biju Janata Dal charting its own course. You've seen Mamata Banerjee crossing over to the Congress. You've seen the AGP tying up with the BJP, but not taking a marriage vow, so to speak. So it is not part of the NDA. Yet it is a democratic ally who will have some kind of a seat adjustment with the BJP in Assam. So it all depends on popular perception and the partners' reading of the ground situation. So their reading of the ground situation doesn't show the BJP really in a pink of health.
There are players like Jayalalitha, for instance, who've just kept their options open in terms of alliances. To your mind, who are the key fence sitters?
In the post-election situation, depending on the numbers, anybody can be a fence sitter, anybody can jump on the other side of the fence. So as I told you, what you are seeing now are professions of love. Whether these professions of love will translate into a long-term alliance, a long-term relationship, will depend on how robust or how virile politically are you in the post-election situation.
Right, Vinod, speaking of love and long-term relationships, now it's very likely that the political alignment will change post-elections as well. Who do you think can actually change the post-poll arithmetic in that sense?
Well, I think that, Mayawati is an important player. Mr. Mulayam Singh Yadav is an important player. Jayalalitha is an important player. Now, I'm taking all these three names in one breath because besides being important players, all three of them are unpredictable. I do not view them as serious political allies in the way I will understand the left, or in the way I will understand the TDP, which hung together with the BJP even after Gujarat, or in the way I'll understand to some extent Mr. Lalu Yadav vis-a-vis his relationship with the Congress. So a coalition, a robust coalition, requires serious political allies. That is where there are doubts about the Third Front. Whether this Third Front will not transform into a hugely radioactive material that will render, that will lead to cancerous growth in the 15th house, I do not know. But, I think that the lesser the nuclear waste post-election, the better off Indian democracy would be.
All right, Vinod Sharma, we'll leave it there. Love in the time of coalition politics. Many thanks for joining us on What's